Is that Runic putting the moves on the format? Yes, yes it is. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. We have the Arkansas regional breakdown. I know that's so far out there. I got sent this breakdown from Tyler again. We've gotten quite a lot of deck profiles and stuff here for this. So your breakdown for this regional has been pretty straightforward. I mean, you had 3 Ishizu tier elements getting the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the event. Just straight lined up, knocked down the dominoes, and they were good to go. Are you surprised about that? That's what you're dealing with for the current format. So, yay. Now, the things that get interesting here. There were 3 Sprite variants in the top cut. Winning the event was actually Sprite Adventure, which we haven't seen a lot of Sprite Adventure in quite a while. So to roll things back here in the format and, you know, dig out this old time capsule is actually quite nice. We also had another Sprite Adventure deck further down, but we also had a Tri-Brigade Sprite as well finding success in this room. Wow. Talk about, once again, time capsules here. I will say that the Sprite Tri-Brigade variant does feel the weakest of the Sprite variants, but you have no Sprite Runic whatsoever. But the things of interest here, there's an Ishizu Runic deck in top cut, which you definitely will see some massive option trees for what that deck wants to do. And then we also had a Runic Crooked Cook list. Now, taking advantage of, you know, Crooked Cook allowing this deck to kind of stabilize through some of those more monstrous plays, you know, setting up a boss monster through Astral Karibo that your opponent actually won't be able to out actually is kind of nice, because the format doesn't really allow for answers for one singular boss monster, as where most people are trying to play, you know, answers for multiples, if that. Well, we're going to pass on over so you can see some of these cool deck lists. All right, the first deck list we're going to be looking at here is your Sprite Adventure package. Yay! I'm finally happy to see that the adventure stuff is getting some chance to see some love again. We're playing Iprea in here for draw power. You absolutely love to see your Nimble Angler package with Nimble Beaver is going to be some of the best carries for this. We're actually seeing Droll and Lockbird here. Actually kind of interesting. I have not seen a lot of Droll in quite some time, so this package is definitely going to, you know, put some pressure on the format. And then, of course, holy moly, man, triple Jerusalem with triple Magnet. Like, you need to see these cards. These cards either need to be mained or sided, and it just looks like, you know, a lot of these hand traps and a lot of these answers, plus, you know, the amazing recoverability of how crazy that this package can go, actually allowed this deck to perform relatively well. And of course, we get to side the Cheese Gamma Burst to steal a game or two. Not too bad. All right, and of course, you get access to good old Dimension Shifter, because that's just how the format is looking right now. Next up is Ishizu tier. Now, I will say, disclaimer, a lot of these Ishizu tier decks, they kind of blend together a lot. Your biggest decision trees are, am I playing, you know, 3 Agito or, you know, 1 Agito? This build was playing 3, which is quite nice. We're only main decking 1 Scream, which out of the YCS, we saw a lot of players were opting to push for multiples of this, which I do think is fine at the end of the day. You make your decision trees for how many of these you want to go for. We're playing 1 Heartbeat, which is fine. This has pretty much also made its way into the format very solidly as a one of for most decks. I'll see we're setting the second down here. Yay, the Time Deviator and secondary Time Deviator. And then, of course, 2 Talents. I don't know how I feel about Talents right now. I know it sees play because of these good cards, but I don't know. It's definitely one of those things that it's been seeing less play, even though you would think it shouldn't be. So, not too bad. I like what we're seeing here for sure. Next up here is our next list for Ishizu. Okay, so we're focusing on 1 Scream. I guess this entire event just wanted to focus on less Screams. I guess, like, maybe Scream can lead to a dead draw along the way, but to be honest with you, I like the Mill 3 for this. You know, a Mill 3 can trigger into, you know, one of your bigger extenders, so you can go. We're also playing the Diviner of the Herald, which is fine. Most of these decks, either they're playing 1 Diviner or they're not playing any, which is kind of interesting. And then, of course, Herald of Orange Light. This card is so crazy, man. Just your value pushes for this. So good. Then, of course, we're citing the 3rd Magnet down here. for a deck that mills a lot of itself, I guess you don't want to create too many dead draws. So overall, not too bad. Yeah, I don't see anything else really too crazy with this. 95% of this deck looks the same. Next up, oh my gosh, here we go again. We're main decking a Cosmic Cyclone. Huh. So I guess we wanted to have, this could be a Galaxy Cyclone, and you could get value from actually having it in the graveyard. One thing of interest down here is we are playing the Swords of Concealing Light. This is actually kind of nice. Your opponent sets up a whole big tier board. You can just flip it down. You don't have to worry about seeing any of those monsters anymore, which should actually alleviate some of the boss monster pressure that you should get from that. So I think that that's kind of worth it in the long haul. I also like the TC Boo here as well. TC Boo actually seeing some application for the first time in a while in a competitive deck. I guess it's, you either care about this or you care about Scale Drain. Either pick your Floodgate, effectively. I do feel like that this can do some crazy things for the mirror match. Next up here is our second sprite list. I love seeing Double Cross in these decks. Like, this is so good. This build also chose to main deck the Gamma Burst as well. I mean, having the main deck Gamma Burst means that you can steal a game that you normally might not be able to steal. And honestly, I think that that's going to be important. We're also playing one Smashers. Second Smashers is pretty much seeing a lot less play right now. Most people, I feel like Double Cross has kind of ate up the slot for that, which is fine. We're main decking 2 talents is fine. We're not going too crazy as the other build with the extra buy steals, but we're still focusing on 2 Durasworm, 2 Magna Nut, which should pretty much round out most of your option trees. Holy traps, man. We're playing Trap Trick. That explains the ratios. Because you're on 2 Sanctum, you're 2 different dimension ground, you're 2 barriers, and then 2 Heavy Storm Dusters. Actually, I haven't seen Heavy Storm Duster in quite some time either here. So you are taking all of these, good traps because of Trap Trick, and you get to play additional copies of them. Next up here was our Shizu Bysteel deck, or Shizu Runic deck. I do see here Triple Diviner of the Herald. This is going to be the reason why you are going to get the chance to do a lot of crazy things with this, because reviving this with this card is going to get you in some amazing situations. Alright, every single turn to drop these good cards to load up your interruptions is going to be so good. I'll see that we're citing the Exchange of the Spirits down here. Having access to Exchange of the Spirits kind of does allow for some crazy little interactions as well. Do not underestimate this deck. This deck can steal some games. I also like the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation with the searching for the Sapphire Pegasus, just so that you have an additional way to get to your field spells. Like, that is actually genius. So, good stuff. This list actually is really, really good on paper. I like this. Then we actually have... Hi, Dimensional Fissure. Hello, Astral Karibo. There's the Crooked Cook. So this is going to be standard runic shenanigans, but you have floodgates everywhere. One thing I will say about this format on the top end of things is floodgates are still very, very powerful. These 2 cards will still clear out a lot of games in your favor, and are going to make a lot of opponents very, very angry with you. Alright, plus, I mean, to be honest with you, if you're setting up for the Crooked Cook, you'll be able to know how your hand is looking if you see the Astral Karibo, if you're going down this line of play. Alright, and then you just use these cards to facilitate mill out power against your opponent while your game plan is win the game. So, don't have to play cards all that often, and your opponent's probably not going to set up an immediate answer to this. So, you really do love to see it. Alright, and the last we have for you guys here is the Sprite Tri-Brigade deck with a mini Bysteel package in it. For the most part, this deck being able to still function and perform in what appears to be one of the craziest formats in the game's history is nothing really short of crazy, in my opinion. So, is there anything too crazy to really point out here in this? No, your Tri-Brigade package feels very standard. Your extra deck feels also pretty standard down here. But it is, once again, kind of nice to see that little bit of a difference for the format. So, what do you guys think about the breakdown for this regional? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you. Ugh.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.